Do I have your permission to teach you my top secret 8-step framework? You can literally call people idiots without calling them idiots. It's powerful stuff. We're going to create something called a like bridge. Then we're going to blame the bank. Then we're going to prophesize. Then we're going to tell them there is a way. Then we're going to say it's not me, it's you. You see how this can be used in all kinds of deal making? This is huge. You can actually translate this 8-step to talking to your spouse. We can do that in a minute if you want to, right? So we're going to use this 8-step framework. You can use it to prepare a seller to receive an annuity offer. That's what I want you to use this for the most. It's great for helping people understand in a nice, logical, indisputable way without being condescending or an asshole that your business is not worth anywhere near what you think it is. You can literally call people idiots without calling them idiots. It's powerful stuff, right? That's what I want you to use this for. I want you to use this as helping them understand why the bank's not going to give me money for your business because your valuation's outrageous. But I can do it in a way where they're literally thanking me. Some pretty powerful stuff, okay? It's also great to combat what we call a broker wall, where you want to go look at these businesses and yet you've got to give blood type, your wife's social, and all kinds of crazy stuff, and they want to see liquidity statements and your bank statements and semen samples just to be able to see the financials. We can get around that as well using pre-framing, okay? So let's go. Before I teach you this, though, I want you to know it's not going to work for everyone. This is my disclaimer. Carl and my lawyer told me I had to say this, right? If you're an asshole, this is not going to work well for you. I'm just going to be honest. If you naturally come off as condescending, which is what a beautiful gift God gave you, this is not going to be very helpful for you, right? If you're not a good communicator and just no matter what you do and say, people don't really understand the words coming out of your mouth. We need to work on you a little bit more, but this could help, right? I just want you to know that. You can't have this strategy and think it's going to fix everything going on in your life. Right? And I do understand. I've had a lot of people tell me, hey, it's easy for you to say that. You're so smooth and you flow. And I already have my 10,000 hours. I've been teaching sales for a long time and negotiations. This is what I do. But I'm telling you, the only way that someone is truly gifted, let's take like a Pace Morby, truly gifted at the art of talking and communicating with sellers and people, the only way for him to be able to help you learn his intangible skill sets, his, not yours, is to put them into frameworks, right? And that's what I do, is I put my magic sauce, my magic dust, into a framework so you all can use it, right? But I just want to make sure you understand that. Okay, so here's the 8-step framework. We're going to give you the slides. You can take as many pictures as you want. Ooh, I like when people pull their camera up and then I pull the slide back. I'm just kidding. Timing's everything, by the way. If you use this at the wrong time, it's not going to work for you, right? If you look at this timeline, deal origination, initial vetting of the deal, deeper vetting, valuation, deal structure, right before you're going to make an offer, this 8-step framework is called the pre-offer pre-frame. The pre-offer pre-frame. You see that star? That's where it goes. Everybody got it? What happens if you do it the first time you ever talk to the seller? It's not going to work. Let's keep going. So here's the framework. First time I ever took it out of my head and put it on a paper. It's been in my head a long time, been using it for a long time. This is the picture of that paper. It was in England. Carl and I were hanging out in Birmingham. How do you say Birmingham? Like a Birmingham? That's how they speak there. If you all behave, Carl will do his around the UK, his voice accents. It's pretty entertaining, okay? So we're going to pre-frame. We're going to educate and set the stage. We're going to create something called a like bridge. Then we're going to blame the bank. Then we're going to prophesize. Then we're going to tell them there is a way. Then we're going to say it's not me, it's you. The opposite of how you break up with people in middle school. And then lastly, we're going to say what else? You guys ready for this? Yeah. Let's jump in. Pre-frame, it's super simple. Remember, this is not a text or an email. I'm going to bring you an offer. That's it. It's not feasible or common practice to pay cash for a business purchase like this. And just like real estate, like an investor, they're not going to necessarily come in and pay cash for an investment property. They're going to get some sort of financing or go through the bank or get a loan, right? And to buy your business, I'm going to be applying for financing. Whether you are or not, it doesn't matter. Got me? So I'm going to bring you an offer, and it's not feasible or common practice to pay cash for business acquisitions like this. And just like if I was a real estate investor buying an investment property, I'm going to be going out and applying for a loan. Is that pretty simple? Great. And when buying a property with a mortgage, the bank's not going to give you more money than the appraised value. I want you to stop and think about this for a second. The reason why we do this is we want to have their logical brain not be able to dispute this as fact. Does that make sense? I'm not leaving this open for interpretation. I'm not asking them for their feedback or their opinion. Okay? I'm going to bring you an offer, and it's not feasible or common practice to pay cash for acquisition purchases like this. And then just like if I was a real estate investor and I was about to buy a property, I'm going to get some sort of a loan, and I'm going to be applying for financing to buy your business. Okay? And just like when you buy a property with a mortgage, the bank's not going to lend more money than the house is worth. Okay? And based upon the finances that you've given me and the figures, the bank's telling me that they're not going to finance this purchase at your asking price. This is literally about a 25-second conversation so far. One thing to be really clear is I'm not stopping and saying, is this making sense? I'm just talking. They don't get to talk till I'm done. Does that make sense? Right? Keep going. So prophesize. And by the way, this isn't just for me, but anybody else who comes along after me looking to purchase your business is going to have the same issue. Okay? Is there any way for anybody to dispute this so far? No. You see how this could work? It's interesting, right? So there is a way. I just want to let you know I am exploring a way to be able to purchase your business and give you much closer to your asking price than the number you're looking for. And I want you to understand that I am committed to finding a way to make this work. Right? I call this the advocate shift. And beyond that, you want to take it to the next level. And I also work with a lot of people who are also acquiring businesses like yours. And even if it's not a good fit for me, I will do my very best to help you in any way I can and connect you to somebody who may be a better fit buyer. Right? Pace even gave an example of that earlier, right? It's a beautiful thing. Okay? And it's not me, it's you. And in this case specifically, it's not my personal financial profile that's holding this back. Actually, the bank doesn't agree with the valuation, and they have some worries, right? And this is where there's a lot of different ways to say this, and you need to say it, and it needs to be true for the business that you're looking at. You guys ready for this? There's lots of different things, but you say, listen, the bank's worried about, and we go back to Carl's presentation around the translation of value, the transfer of value. There's all these reasons why a bank would say, I'm not going to loan money on that, right? The business owner wears all the hats. The business owner has all the relationships. The fact that their business on the P&Ls has been showing a downward trajectory over the last 3 years. The fact that your business has no cash reserves and no access to any type of savings where if shit hits the fan, you're kind of screwed. There's all kinds of different reasons that you could use here, right? What about the fact that the business has no contractual revenue? Or maybe it's an Amazon e-com store and the business, like literally, you don't even have access to your customers. Do you see how you can blame the bank and say this is what the bank's worried about? And what's so cool about that is they're not taking it as a personal dig from you. You're blaming the bank, and you're not just blaming the bank, but you're logically justifying it in a way that's almost indisputable. Maybe you'll get lucky and some of this stuff's not true, and maybe they'll come back and say, hey, I think you may have the wrong impression, but actually this is what's going on. Do you see why this is very important to do this at the right time? This isn't the first conversation you've ever had. You want to do some due diligence. You want to vet the deal. Do you see how this can be used in all kinds of deal making? This is huge. You can actually translate this 8-step to talking to your spouse. You can. We can do that in a minute if you want to, right? So after we blame the bank and then we specifically logically justified and backed up why the bank was worried, I'll put that back up there for you for just a second. We also say, what else, right? What else is important to you? Imagine we can come to terms today. Imagine we can get you your asking price for this business. What else is important to you besides just money? And I love saying besides just money because it makes them feel like a Scrooge McDuck or an asshole to say it's just the money. It really does. They're like, it's just the money. It's like, good luck to you, sir. Right? That's where my mind goes. But I love that. What else is really important to you? Because if you go to what Carl was talking about yesterday, there's 2 acronyms. Anybody know the acronyms? One was a SCORE, MUD score, motivation, urgency, and distress. The other one was called LEVER. Right? We want to find out if they're legacy driven or they're wanting to focus on their protecting their customers or their employees. Like we want to find out what else is really need to be true. Okay? So that's the concept of the 8-step framework.